Hi, I'm Paul from VeloX, and I'm going to show you the easy way to clean your touring stroke commuting bike. I'm adamant that you shouldn't clean a bike with a pressure washer or a hose. There's too much pressure from these devices that can basically inject water into lots of areas of your bike where you don't want water to go, like bearings, free hub bodies. For more of an explanation on this, you can look at our Brompton cleaning video where I go into this in a bit more detail. We do recognise that if you're commuting daily, this isn't necessarily something you can do every day or every week, because actually you just need to crack on and get to work and get on with your life. But we're just showing you what you can do if you want to show your bike a bit of love. So what do I use to clean my bike? Well, what I use is a nice load of Finish Line bicycle wash paired with a garden pressure washer. So you put water in here, you have a little hose on the end, and you apply pressure into the chamber, which then brings water out of the nozzle. This is the adequate pressure to clean your bike alongside this. So what I do first is I wet the bike all over. Next, I need to use the Finish Line bike wash. Always look up the manufacturer's instructions. I do stray away a little bit from manufacturer's instructions on this brand because I just find that the way I use it's quite good. I turn this to on, and then I make sure that this little nozzle goes over. It has like a gauze in it, which means that the liquid kind of goes all foamy and nice and kind of covers a lot more area. So the next thing to do is spray the bike all over. This is fine to use all over the bike. Now I need to wait about 3 minutes. So 3 minutes have passed, and what I need to do now is wash off the cleaner. I need to apply a little bit more pressure into my garden pressure washer, and then starting at the top of the bike, I need to remove all of the mud and all of the cleaner, making sure to get under the mud guards. It's a very stubborn place. The cleaner is really good to use on any part of the bike. There's not necessarily anywhere I would avoid. Today I've not done the handlebars because that's a bit overkill because they're not dirty, so I wouldn't necessarily put it on any part that wasn't fully dirty. Again, mud guards are a really stubborn area. You can see how close these mud guards are. And then I'll need to turn the bike round. So I'm really happy with the way the bike's come up. It wasn't super muddy or super minging, but it did need a clean. What I'm looking to do today is just clean it enough and re-lubricate in a second, just so I can put it away, store it, and not worry about it until the next ride. If I want to go further cleaning a bike, that's part of kind of my yearly full service that I do when I fully strip down the bike. If there was a lot of stubborn mud and grime in this area, what you can do is you can use a brush to get in between all the components and remove any excess mud. One thing to be aware of when using a brush or even a rag is what we don't want to do is use the brush on all the components or the gear components where all the oil is, and then come up and use it on our braking surface. That applies to disc brakes as well. So you either need to use this just separately on the gears, or have a couple of brushes, or have a couple of rags, but definitely do not cross-contaminate. It's not the end of the world if you cross-contaminate on V brakes. It's not ideal, but it's definitely a problem if you cross-contaminate on disc brakes, because basically you may end up having to replace the discs and the pads. At the moment, I've cleaned the bike and I'm really happy with it, but there's a lot of excess water on the bike. This is quite a nice custom-made bike by George Longstaff. We have done a video on it, so check that out on our YouTube channel. But it does have some bits that need a bit of care, as well as the main drivetrain, which is very generic between touring and commuting bikes. There's little bits like the chrome work that I don't want water to sit on. So what I'm going to do is just go round and remove any excess water with a rag. I have two products to re-lubricate the bike. I have a lubricating spray, which is like a dry lubricant, so quite thin, but good for components and the chain in the warm weather, and wet lube for the chain. I generally use wet lube most of the year because the climate's a bit on and off, so that's kind of the main thing that I use just on the chain. But first of all, we're going to use the TF2 dry lubricant. So I'm looking to just spray the derailleur just to make sure it's lubricated nicely. If you notice, I'm putting a rag behind, so excess spray is not going all over the rim brake surface. I'll do the same on the rear derailleur. Doesn't need loads, just a little bit. Also on this bike, I need to put a little bit of treatment on the chrome. And the best way I do this is to spray the rag and just go over the chrome like that. What this will do is any water that's left on it, it expel it away from the surface. And I have a little bit on the dropouts here, so I sprayed that one. And I also spray this one here. I've got one at the front and one just there as well. I've also got a steel rack on the front, so I will look to just rub that over. I may be being a little bit precious, but I love my bike, so what are you going to do? So I like to spray the pedals as their SPDs just because they've got springs and whatnot in them. Saves them rusting up. Another area that's really good if you've got drop handlebars or straight handlebars is to lubricate the shifters. You can put a straw in the end to guide it better, but getting a little bit of lubricant in the shifter never hurts anyone. Shimano shifters, especially these ones, do fall asleep if they're not used a lot, so they've got little hammers and springs in them, and they tend to kind of stop working. So a bit of lubricant now and again really ensures that they'll work for a long time. Hang on. It's not undoing. So next I'm going to use my Finish Line wet lubricant on the chain, and what I'm looking to do, dab each chain link like so. We're not looking to put loads of oil on the chain. All we're looking to do is to put oil into this part of the chain where the rollers are to reduce friction as we pedal, which then reduces chain wear. If you put your bike against the wall, you should be able to do this. Next thing to do is to spin the pedals round and let the oil find its place. Then we take our rag and we want to remove any excess oil. So what I do is just put this lightly around the chain Go backwards again. Then we wipe off all the excess. Another good place to put oil is just in the pulleys here, just a little drop, one, and a little drop, two. Another place you can put them is if there's a spring under there, you can put it just on the spring, and you can just let a little bit of oil fall into these rivet holes. One thing that can happen in the winter is a lot of people stay in one gear at the front, and then come kind of March they want to use their gears, and this is basically stuck because it hasn't moved for the whole winter. So it's definitely good to lubricate this part. Thanks for watching our video. Please subscribe to our channel. We hope you enjoyed this short video just explaining how you can wash your bike really easy in a really bike friendly way. Let us know if you've got any tips or tricks, how you clean your bike. Let us know if there's anything you disagree with what we do. We've been looking after bikes for all of our lives, really. And I'm a mechanic and we're both lifelong cyclists. And we find that this is the best way to constantly look after our bikes, mixed with a yearly full service, and they just go on and on and on. So thanks for watching.